Welcome back to Your Full Crew. We are in Dallas, actually Fort Worth technically, at the Keysight location with the GUTMA, the Global UTM Association, here at this amazing event. And we're kicking this off with our sponsor. We've got Trisha Gilbert, who's representing Metis Technologies today. And so Trisha, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here, and I'm honored to represent Metis Technology Solutions. I am by trade an air traffic controller, 32 years in the FAA.
Wow.
I retired in 2021, but I also served for 12 years in Washington, D.C. as the Executive Vice President for the National Air Traffic Controllers Association. I'm honored to continue to serve and represent air traffic controllers on the international realm through the International Federation of Air Traffic Controllers. But in my role with Metis Technologies, again, a proud sponsor of this wonderful event, I am glad to, really promote the work, the great work that they do. They are an authentically woman-owned small business. They specialize in systems engineering, software engineering, and systems development. They offer, since 2011, their scientists in engineering have specialized in supporting NASA, the DoD, and commercial entities to help them find real solutions to and providing their expertise in areas of engineering services, modeling and simulation, research, development, testing, and evaluation. A great company.
Well, and all of those things are highly important to UAS traffic management, or what we're here to talk about, right? And learn about over these couple of days in the Fort Worth area. So you've been here and you've heard some interesting things already. So as you're looking around and listening, what is the one thing that jumps out at you as being really exciting?
Well, I sat on the original Drone Advisory Committee when they stood it up in 2016. So to be here 8 years later and see the wonderful work and the collaborative efforts to ensure that this new technology and this innovation becomes reality sooner rather than later, hopefully, and harmonized globally. From an international perspective, I think that is so important that we figure this out and we share best practices and we share data and information and really enable this wonderful new next step for aviation.
It's really amazing to me is when you say global, this event is truly global. I mean, people have come from all over the world here to Texas to see what's happening. We saw some demos and everybody's just talking, collaborating. It's amazing.
It's wonderful. And I don't know if they brought in the cows and the steers that are just next door.
I know. I'm going to try to get a little bit of B-roll for the beginning of this. As I was driving, I'm like, I should video the cows. Yes. Like, where else but Texas does that happen? Maybe Colorado, where I'm from. But very, very cool. All right. So as you kind of look ahead, what are you the most excited about?
Well, I am very excited that we are going to see very soon a new rule from the Part 108, and I think that will help. Regulation can enable really meaningful things in any country, and so hopefully that coming online will be the next big step for this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. 108, please, God willing. Will this be the Christmas gift that we all open, right? It was the early one on Christmas Eve, because historically it's either been Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, and that's my bet if I'm putting money on it, one of those two. So thank you so much, Trish. It was great to meet you. Thank you for everything you're doing, and thank you for jointly sponsoring this with True Weather Solutions. And that's who we have up next. We've got Don Bershoff. Everybody knows him by now. He is the Weather Don. And you're doing a keynote here. You're going to be on a panel as well. You're all over this. Why?
Well, if you were out there at the Keysight yesterday, you recognize that weather does matter. And
it was a little windy, wasn't it? Yeah. Right. So what else about the weather was like, in your brain, like, this is why they need me?
Well, honestly, what I'm trying to do is help them get weather under control in a sense that we have reliable, secure, and we know what kind of weather sensors are being used by operators to fit into the aviation weather system in a way that keeps it safe. Like the reason we have approved weather and the reason it has to be trusted is we don't want to get bad data into the system.
Right.
And so we don't want to get willy-nilly about this and just start letting anyone put any sensor up that may or may not, be accurate, reliable, secure. So I think what we've learned is that this system, we're ready now to bring weather as an integrated component into UTM, and we can make sure that the UTM operators or owners and the operators that are using UTM services, they'll know that the weather data is assured through this new weather standard. There's now a guarantee that they don't have to worry about weather or worry about what people are putting into the system and sharing. That'll be all addressed and well addressed with the new rules and regulations.
Yeah, absolutely. And so can you give us a little preview of your keynote?
Weather 4.0.
Weather 4.0. Is this a new? So, you know, he trademarked the term weather tax. And are you trademarking this one too? So tell.
I thought about it, but I think some people would be mad at me if I tried to steal that one.
Yeah, I think so. It's
Yeah.
probably, I don't know. I'm not an
It
IP attorney.
it has to do with Industry 4.0 and Internet of Things and machine learning, and which is what this whole industry is using right now.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
all the UTM stuff is being built around this.
Yeah.
Well, weather can be also part of the Industry 4.0, and the weather application will lay on top of that. And that's what we'll talk about tomorrow, how this is scalable and how we can bring in IoT weather sensors and do it safely and make it part of this system.
All right. So Don, you were out there. You saw the demonstrations. Tell us what your thoughts were, other than, oh, it's a little windy today and they really need me. Like,
Well,
what else were you thinking?
no,
I mean,
first
it
of
was
all-
pretty incredible, right? Like
Well,
to
no,
see
look,
deconfliction.
first of all, they don't need me. They don't have to have me.
Well, I think they
It's
do.
their decision. If they want to get more money and make more money, then they might want to use me.
Well,
But
there
the
you
bottom-
go. There's
but
that.
the bottom line is this: is that I love the fact that we have GUTMA here. I love the fact that the FAA is leaning in so heavily. I really have so many positive things to say about the FAA leadership. I mean, I've been around a while, 40 years. I used to work with the FAA. This is not your father's FAA. And I love the fact that we're seeing the innovation and this idea of the operational test and evaluation test bed. You know, we are going to have this very high resolution weather data right over the area that we were flying yesterday that will be tested in this operational weather and evaluation test bed. So we're integrating the weather component into it. And I just think this is what I wanted to see 7 years ago when I started working this with NASA and the FAA. I wanted to see us use all these capabilities. Doesn't matter where you're from, bring this all together. And I'm feeling very rewarded for the work we've put in and the fact that everyone's really working well together.
Yeah, look, collaboration, you know, if this was Sesame Street, the word of the day would be collaboration, right? Letter C.
Right.
Great stuff. And see there, I told you.
It
It was me. No, it was me.
I was watching your hands
I know
early.
my
You were
hands.
telling me I can't use my
all right,
hands.
Stop moving
And
them.
then you were using your hands.
All right, on that note, Don, thank you again so
All
much.
right,
Don's
bet.
been a huge supporter of the crew, of the Dawn of Autonomy, of this industry. So thank you for everything you're doing, and look forward to hearing that keynote. You know, I'm looking forward
Thanks.
to that. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Dawn.
much.
Take
Thank you
care.
so much.
Bye.
Next up, we've got the Secretary General of GUTMA, Cohn DeVos. So great to see you, sir. Here we go. Let me get you in the screen.
Yes.
I know it's like
Hi.
you know, we're like kind of
Looking
tagging
for you.
out, and there you are. Very good. So all right. So first of all, for those that don't know what GUTMA is, tell them a little bit about your organization.
GUTMA is the only global UTM association. We represent not only UTM, but we represent the whole drone ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because we see UTM only as the first step towards opening the new world of digital aviation. And that's why it is so important to have such an association as GUTMA, as we are, because we not only represent industry, we are a unique platform at global level to represent also the combination of regulators and industry. That's why we come together. It's all about framing the whole market and not about defending specific interests. And that's a big difference between a normal association and what we are, GUTMA, what we stand for.
Well,
That's a big difference.
It is, and clearly global. I mean, so you're from where?
I'm from Belgium.
You're from Belgium.
Belgium, Europe.
And you have board members from Japan.
Japan, Australia, we span the globe. We span the globe. It's Australia, Japan, then Europe and America. We still look for Africa and Latin America, and that's why we are so happy that this time to our conference we see visitors from all around all continents.
Yes.
All continents are there.
Yeah. I know people in Latin America and Africa, so we'll
make
we'll make that happen for you. All right,
Well,
but
I would appreciate
we
it.
can talk afterwards.
Yes,
But
okay.
in the meantime, you came here. You came to Dallas, and so in Fort Worth. Thank you for doing that. Why? Why did you select this location for your very important conference?
Because we want to be there where the needle is moving. And last year we went to ICAO to show that the needle is moving at the global level. And that's why we went to Montreal. And there we were partnering with ICAO before they organized their, or together with back to the Drone Enable Conference. This year we saw the needle moving in Dallas. So that's why we teamed up with the FAA colleagues. We saw them in Amsterdam a couple of months ago. And then we started to develop the idea, why is it so important, and how can we showcase Dallas as the way forward for the globe, as a best practice for the globe? And we are very happy to have been working together with the industry partners of the Dallas Initiative, where we have Wing and Andra and so on in our board, Zipline. So we have their industry side, and we have the FAA also as our member, together with FOCA, for instance, and that is also the value of GUTMA, because we are the combination of industry and regulators. If we produce a deliverable, what we call deliverable, it really can be instrumental in shaping up the framework of the drone service ecosystem. We have been mentioning already, we need rules, we need standards, but we also need at the administrative layer that multilateral contract between the different actors in the market to regulate the governance and exchange the data.
Well,
So it's really instrumental what we are doing.
one thing I learned here, and everybody mark your calendars, December, big month, we hope all around, but also because GUTMA is releasing a UTM index for 2024. So I love that you did that. So it's kind of a report card. I mean, we've got, we have this one in the United States, the drone readiness scorecard. People get all fired up about that. I suspect people will likewise get fired up when they read your report. But that's exciting, and I'm glad you did it because, if you look glass half full instead of empty, I'm kind of an empty kind of gal when it comes to glasses.
But it's all
It's what are the
Yeah,
opportunities,
yeah.
right, to
It's-
improve.
It's all
Yeah.
about opportunities. It's not to say, oh, what a good pupil, what a bad pupil.
Yeah, or they're number one.
It's
not
but
a ranking.
It's not a ranking. It's to see which are my strengths and what are my weaknesses and how can I improve. Because if you really want to create a thriving drone ecosystem, you have to cater so many pillars and you have to work on so many wars at the same time.
Yes.
And they have to strengthen each other. And then you see Japan is strong in this, Australia is strong in another aspect,
Right.
US in another, the EU has its progress in regulatory affairs. So how can we learn each other and then beef up our weakest spots?
Yeah.
That's the purpose of the UTM in the readiness index, and that's why we were developing, measuring is knowing, and then we know exactly what we can do to at the end of the day come up with a list of actionable items
Yeah.
that we can help.
I
and
love that
support
you
each
did
other.
it. And I'm looking forward to
We
reading
will
it.
Very happy
And
to
I
have
hope
done
it's
that.
okay. I'm just going to ask you publicly now. I want to post it on my Autonomy Global website.
You can post
and
it.
that's, by the way, that's going to be
Feel
in
free.
15 languages at
Oh,
least.
congratulations.
Very exciting.
We are
So
global.
coming up soon, January 1st. But all right, so that's all she wrote. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very
taking the time. I
for
know you're
taking
very
me.
busy.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate you. And we're going to have the FAA next. So coming on down, and I think I jacked up the centering of this, so we'll go ahead and. This is Jessica Brightman. Let me see, Jessica. Let me move over.
Okay.
All right, wait. Nope, the
Oh, this
camera's
way?
moving. Whee! All right. All right, hold on. Let me do this. Let me try to lock it in place. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think we're good. All
We're centered now.
Oh, yeah,
It's
now
nice to be
it's
here.
so good to be centered, right?
Exactly.
Jessica, you were on an amazing UTM panel that I had the privilege of moderating at the FAA Drone and AAM Symposium this summer. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do for the FAA.
Excellent, sure. I'm the implementation branch manager within the UAS Integration Office. I lead the team that is working on developing and implementing policy for drones, for UTM, BVLOS, all the things we're working to advance and enable for more complex operations. It's a lot of fun.
It is. And, look, everybody was super excited. when they heard you speak with that amazing panel in July. You know, for the first time, I think we heard, hey, UTM might be in Part 108. Stay tuned, everybody. So that's really exciting. So here we are at the Key site. Tell us a little bit about this and, you know, the FAA's kind of role here, because it's very unique insofar as it's industry-led, and it's not a test site. It's not part of Beyond, right? The official programs, if you will. So just tell everybody a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're here in North Texas, and I'm going to sort of start at the beginning of this whole thing. Last summer in 2023, actually the summer before, when we got to the point that we decided we were ready to start having UTM be beyond testing, in operations, in the wild, out in the wild, we decided to start the Key Site Initiative. And we worked with industry on this, and we determined that the demand was here in Texas. So over the past year, almost a year and a half now, we've been collaborating with industry and working to get to where we were, you know, this week, today. And it's been a great experience. We've learned a lot. And it's really exciting for me to see UTM outside of tests. This is in the real world. These are operations that are happening today.
Yes.
And it's dynamic, and it's helping them deconflict, and it's helping build the ecosystem, and it's helping the drone industry grow and expand. You know, I think we've learned a lot. The one thing that's really interesting, you know, we've been utilizing the GUTMA template for governance, and we've worked through a variety of challenges from how we're going to share information. We currently have strategic deconfliction up and running. We have 4 FAA accepted strategic deconfliction UTM service providers. We also have a UTM service provider that is a surveillance service provider, not here in North Texas, but one more FAA accepted provider. So, you know, we've gone from UTM being a test thing to having, you know, 5 service providers that are FAA accepted and allowed to be used in real world operations in the wild.
And you know
which
what
is awesome.
what I love about that too is they're all different, right? So some of them are vertically kind of integrated in their own company. I think Wing is one of those, and we're going to hear from Matthew Satterley here in a second. And then you have folks like, you know, groups like ONRA that are kind of plug and play with others like public safety. So tell everybody, you know, we saw this week some real world operations out there, as you say, in the wild. And it was wild. It was not the wild, wild west, though. It was very, very organized. Very, you know, so we had a public safety drone flying. We had manna drones, like physically delivering real food to real people in this neighborhood. And we had Wing up there, you know, kind of showcasing how theirs works too. So what, as you watch this, you know, what's the most exciting thing for you?
Well, I really am glad you brought up the diversity that we have there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, we have multiple operators, we have multiple service providers, and some of them, and then we have multiple, you know, missions. You know, we had this public safety, have the you know, the package delivery. We also have a UTM service provider, ONRA, providing services not in the North Texas area, but in New York State to New York Power Authority for some of their infrastructure inspection and some of their, you know,
critical infrastructure
work there. So we're seeing it go from 1 to, you know, implementations to a broader range of missions, a broader range of operators and service providers, and seeing that whole ecosystem grow. And we're learning through all of it. You know, as I mentioned, we do strategic deconfliction. The governance organization in the FAA, along with NASA, are working on how we can implement other parts of the standards, including prioritization and conformance monitoring for situational awareness going forward, because, you know, strategic deconfliction is awesome. It's really good. It's, you know, it helps it grow, but it's the first step. And
prioritization, right? You said that, and then I keep hearing conspicuity, of course. You know, ADSB might not be a solution everywhere. I think here in this carved out area that we're doing things here, it works. So there's definitely work to be done, but a lot of work has been done. And thank you for your role in that. Really appreciate you and everything you're doing. So, all right, how can people learn more? I know you guys have an amazing website at the FAA.
Yes, definitely. FAA.gov/UAS. If you look down, especially in the UTM section, we have a lot of information about North Texas. We have a lot of information about our near-term approvals process, which is how we've gotten to these FAA
NTAP,
acceptance.
right? Yep.
Yeah, and then I would also add that if they're interested specifically about the key site, there's a GitHub website.
Yes,
that is
I love the
available.
transparency.
Yes,
like
that
all
allows
the stuff is
all the
hung there.
documents. So operators, service providers that are interested in participating, of course, you're welcome to come and speak with us at the FAA, but definitely go to the GitHub site, go to the industry folks, learn what's out there and how you can help.
And read it for yourself.
Yeah,
It's there. So
I think that's really great. That's
yeah.
a really great part of working with them.
awesome. Well, thank you
Okay,
so
thank
much.
you.
All right, appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
All right, we're gonna bring up Matthew Satterley next from Wing because it was just like a good segue. I know Abby Smith is like jumping up in the background, just so you know. You'll see her in a second. We'll let you go next, Abby.
Sorry, Abby.
All right, no worries. So great to have you, Matthew. So, first of all, tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I work on the policy and government relations team at Wing. Wing is a drone delivery company. It was mentioned a few times by some of the other folks ahead of us. We've delivered commercial goods and medical goods on 3 different continents now.
Well, 3D in different continents, you're a very critical part of this key site in the Fort Worth area. But we just heard the FAA mention, oh yeah, Honor is in New York. You know, that's something I think people don't fully appreciate is that this key site is just the beginning. So tell everybody a little bit about this governance and how you plan to kind of expand this model nationally and potentially globally.
Yeah, so when we started working together, the original 7 companies who came together who recognized the operational need for UTM, we wanted to make sure that it was a national solution, but also something that would apply internationally. And so we were inspired by the work that the GUTMA task force had done, building a data exchange template. And so we used that to get us started. The idea from day one was never that it was located just in North Texas or just around Fort Worth. It was always intended to be a national solution. And so all of the documents that Jess just mentioned, if you go and you look at the information about the UTM implementation group, it's all expected to be serving UTM companies and drone operators around the entire United States.
And we heard a couple other states, like New York was just mentioned, but I feel like I heard Utah. Can you confirm or deny?
Yeah, so
Is this like a Glomar response in the DoD for a FOIA? Like, we cannot confirm or deny this thing exists.
So I mean, I think it's up to each of the operators to decide who needs
Hold
UTM
on.
services.
Keep talking.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the camera back.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Where the UTM services are needed, and when there's a need to be able to coordinate with other operators.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that Zipline is operating in Utah, and so I think that since they're one of the companies that received a letter of acceptance from the FAA, we expect that they would probably be applying that to their operations in Utah. Wing announced recently that we're moving to Charlotte soon, or expanding to Charlotte, I should say, and so we expect
Awesome.
that we'll be using our letter of acceptance not just in North Texas, but in North Carolina as well, and anywhere else we grow to in the future.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to be disruptive here and try to get my camera back because apparently I'm jacking this up completely. Come on. All right. You got to love AI and technology when it works. And that's maybe a great segue to ask you, Matthew. You guys have been doing this for a while now. What would you say is really working and what could, to use Cohn's words earlier on his panel, are some opportunities to improve?
Yeah, I think one of the things I'll give Amit from Honor the credit. He always talks about coalition of the willing. When this initiative first kicked off in the North Texas region, I wasn't sure that we were going to get all 7 operators to the table to want to do this. And I think within 24 hours of the initial conversation, everybody committed. Everyone signed up.
That's
everybody
amazing.
wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Because
you guys, I mean, in certain respects, you're competitors.
Yeah, in some regard.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, to say, hey, we're throwing down and we're going to do this thing together.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
There's really just so much opportunity out there, and I think that the entire industry is better if we do this together.
Yeah.
We've found through the standards development bodies, through organizations like GUTMA, the industry moves more quickly when we're working together and trying to figure this out. And so the UTM implementation is a great example of how that's working specifically around UTM in the US right now. We've doubled in size since we first signed the initial agreement after the AUVSI conference in April.
Yeah.
And I think that interest is going to keep growing.
Now, wait a minute. When you say you doubled in size, are you talking about additional companies that you essentially like onboarded?
Correct.
Can you just very, very briefly, because we have other speakers, but I think this is important. We learned this, that there's a kind of a way for people to get involved. In other words, it's not just, hey, this is the in crowd and you guys are the out crowd. There's a process to become a part of this, not just in Dallas, but nationally. Can you very briefly explain how people can potentially get involved?
Yeah, so if there is any UTM company that has an operator with the need to strategically deconflict, they're welcome to come and participate in the onboarding. There's no voting, there's no payment required to be part of this group. It's just a technical onboarding. And if you pass, then you're part of the group, and you're brought in to help us run the governance committee, which is comprised of the operations and technical pieces. But yeah, it's open for everyone.
And what I love about it, it's not subjective. Like you said, there's no voting. It's like, this is a performance-based thing. There are gateways, and if either you make it or you don't. Right. And if you don't, you can come back and try later, right? Or
Yeah.
there's a grace period to try to correct things. I learned a lot about this. So I was really excited as a nerd and a lawyer. I'm like, all right, cool. There's a good process here. So appreciate that you guys are leading the way, really, and you taking the time to talk with me here today.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing more great things.
All right, great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right, we got Abby Smith coming down. Now, Abby is
Okay,
with
well-
Aunt. Here she comes. Here she comes.
I was unsuccessful at arm wrestling.
I
no
know.
matter
She
that,
almost
but-
like you couldn't see it, but you almost tackled him. It was
true.
very impressive.
True, thank
But Abby is now with Smith Solutions.
Yes.
And Abby was recently on the Dawn of Autonomy podcast with MC from AX Enterprise.
Correct.
Enterprise with a Z.
With a Z.
Yeah. So if you missed that show, go check it out. And you dragged them here. You
did.
dragged the AX
I
Enterprise
dragged
people
them.
here because you were like, hey, there's this thing going on. You need to be here. So tell everybody why you think it's important to attend this event.
Well, yeah. I mean, so look, if we're gonna figure out how to really take advantage of UAS traffic management and and bring drones to scale, we've got to make sure that they're operating in a safe manner from both crewed aircraft and from each other. And so it only makes sense that if you are developing or have a developed UTM platform, that you're part of this crew, right? And that you're contributing to working groups, to the body of knowledge, and learning from each other what is and isn't going to work. Because I think Matt said it really well. This is a big industry, and we're stronger when we work together. So that's why I dragged my clients, because and so I'm just going to do a little spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And MC and Pat have a UTM platform that is the DoD's UTM platform. It's called Clue. They have a clue, and it is.
There's the tagline.
Hey,
we have a clue.
They have a clue.
Use our UTM.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're getting ready to commercialize it.
Cool.
And so and because in the spirit of interoperability, and having spent 33 years in government, it's really important that civilian and government use work. And so
and together. I mean, this
and
is what I
together.
mean. We're seeing this with Project Ultra, right, up at Grand Sky.
And they're a part of Ultra too.
Yeah. So wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Their UTM system is part of Project Ultra. At the Northern Plains.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about Project Ultra.
A lot of people don't.
Well, we did a
I'm just saying.
worldwide broadcast premiere with Tom Sawyer from Grand Sky.
Today's Tom
talking
Sawyer.
about it. Today's Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
Oh man. David
went
Bowie.
there, sorry.
She's quoting David Bowie. So really good stuff though. Check out that video. Talks about what it is, and not only that, but how you can get involved in it.
Yeah.
If you're a company, not just UTM companies, but they're looking for like everybody.
Well, I mean,
counter drone
again,
drone delivery, everything.
It was said earlier today on the opening panel, UTM isn't for itself.
No,
It's
it's
to
an enabling.
enable companies to use novel aviation technology to make the world better.
Yep.
And in the case of the Project Ultra, it's to enable the warfighter to get logistics moved inside the country safely and in compliance with airspace rules
Yeah.
and deconflicting from other aircraft.
Yeah,
So
it's almost
super
mind blowing
cool.
that DoD hasn't been doing that. We can talk about that offline.
Yeah,
But
not
but
now.
yeah. But anyway,
Too
really,
soon.
really too soon. Really interesting. Good stuff. So, how can people find out more about you and what you're doing,
Well,
or reach you?
Well, you can reach me. I'm super active on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Or if you want to just email me, it's Abby@andersmithsolutions.com. Abby, ABBY, because I'm a person, not a place.
Oh, why? What? How do you spell
Because
the place?
Abbey is a place where monks live, and there's an E in it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you.
Cheers.
Okay. We're going to get MC up here now. I think that was a great segue. So, MC, collaborating with Abby, but doing amazing things. Once again, was on the Dawn of Autonomy podcast. Here you go. And you're here. She dragged you here. Are you glad, though? Here, get closer to me. I know you don't want to look. There we go. So, are you glad? And if so, why?
Oh, this event has been great. As Abby mentioned, we're very much involved in Department of Defense, developing a UTM system for them, as well as DHS, but we want to commercialize.
And DHS is Department of Homeland Security, and this is
Oh,
global.
right.
Not everybody would know that,
That's
but
correct.
now they know. Now they do. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
So this kind of opened up our eyes as to where is the commercial world. We are working with Upstate Medical and their Air Upstate drone
In New York.
in New York.
In New York, yeah.
In New York. So we're going to pursue the NTAP process and then get hopefully a key site set up there
In New York.
in New York.
Oh, you heard it here first. That's so exciting.
That-
Okay,
that's
this is
the
like one of the
plan.
things they're trying to do.
And
Okay.
and obviously work with companies like ONRA.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that we have in the past.
Yep.
Whether it be the FAA's UFT testing or IPPs, we've worked with OneSky and ONRA.
Yeah.
Cal Analytics. So
Yeah.
we're pretty comfortable with the whole interoperability, strategic deconfliction way forward, if you will.
No, I think that's really important. Jeffrey Vincent said it best. He was kind of recycling something he heard at the UAS summit in North Dakota. It was actually the Major General David Stewart from the Joint Counter UAS Office. He's basically said, if it's proprietary, it's a no-go. It has to be modular, open system architecture to work, right? And I think when you look at what we're doing here at the key site, the way that these systems can communicate with each other and deconflict, it's just a prime example of why that's so critically necessary.
Absolutely. It's
Yep.
a team sport.
Yeah.
And I would love to get Matt to come back to New York with Wing, and we're absolutely going to get weather involved.
Oh
because
yes, Don. Yeah,
Don's
Don's
gonna
been
make
in New
us-
York. He's been in New York from
He
the
has.
beginning. I mean,
he's worked at
he's
the New
from
York.
New York.
he-
Okay, and by the way, other fun fact: Don was on our Full Tilt Tech Industry Leadership Talks podcast a while ago, and this guy started journaling weather when he was 7 years old. I don't know if you knew that.
So
So, yes, who does that? Don. Don does that.
Don.
So, this guy isn't just 40 years in the business. He's been doing it since he was 7. And so, yeah, I'm a huge fan.
I actually met Don when he was at Air Mobility Command.
Oh,
He-
Air Force days.
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
providing, we had a Air Force Research Lab program to provide mobile networking to the platforms.
Ah,
And
okay.
in order to do that, we needed weather.
And
that's
that
where
was
I met
him.
Don.
And that's where you got into the whole networking thing. So,
That's right.
great stuff, great stuff. Okay, so how can people learn more about AX Enterprise with a Z?
www.axenterprisewithaz.com.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, MC. We are going to get Keely up here. Keely Griffith is with AUVSI, and many of you follow me, and my Dawn of Autonomy podcast is affiliated with AUVSI. It streams to their YouTube channel. I also do the Law Tech Connect workshop annually at Exponential as a co-located event. Super excited about Houston next year.
Yeah.
Coming back to Texas. We're here now.
We are.
So why are you here, Keely? I mean, AUVSI, this is GUTMA. What's the connection?
So AUVSI, our goal, and I would say mine even personally, is always about building relationships and collaboration opportunities. And so this is the perfect opportunity to do that. Actually, Cohen from GUTMA serves on my Congress committee for Exponential Europe, which is taking place in February.
Yes, I just saw some info about that online. Yeah.
We really do like to bring all of the stakeholders in to have a really robust conversation. You can't just talk to operators, you can't just talk to the technologists, you have to think about all the service providers and anyone who has sort of a hand in whatever is going to be the solution to scaling these operations. So I'm here. A lot of times it's to make more connections, so meeting new people, and I have done that. I was wondering if she was going to ask me. I was wondering if you were going to ask me, Keely, what have you learned? And I was going to say, well, I'm going to take a politician's role here and say, well, I'm going to answer the question I want.
All right. Well, what question do you want to answer? Just go ahead and answer it, Keely. Just go ahead and answer
you see
that.
How I just guided that?
Yes,
I'm never going to be invited back. It's
I
really,
have to. She's my partner. Okay, go ahead.
Oh man, it's really about the people that you're meeting. So I think Cohen mentioned it best. There's representatives here from all these different continents. We had a wonderful dinner last night where we had the opportunity to really connect with some of those individuals. So on my right, I had Jeffrey Vincent, great, had a good conversation. On my left, I had members from Zipline and from CASA, and it's really great to have some of those conversations about what's taking place in different countries. So.
Yeah, CASA, by the way, is the Civil Aviation Authority in Australia. And fun fact, we are going to have a Global Drone Regulations Part 2 panel at Law Tech Connect this year, hoping to get some other countries. We're also doing a State of the States Part 2, just because those were so popular last year and we learned so much. So really excited about that.
Would you like can I give you you heard it here first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I actually just wrapped up a call this morning. We were talking through the policy sessions for Exponential in Houston.
Yep.
And there are going to be, I wonder how much I can share. There are going to be a series.
We're not editing this.
Oh,
so,
that's fine.
Okay.
There's going to be a series of sessions that are going to be specifically focused on BD loss in other countries. And so we have I think 3 continents represented.
Oh, amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. We're all excited for that. How can people learn more about Exponential? First of all, you've got Exponential Europe coming up first, and as you said, in February in Dusseldorf, Germany.
Yep.
And then the follow-on in Houston in May, the week of the 19th. Tell everybody how they can learn more about those.
So I will share my email. You're always welcome to reach out to me at kgriffith@auvsi.org, or you can just reach out to education@auvsi.org or visit the website. We have tons of information on exponential.org. Come be a partner. If you want to speak, well, you're a little late for that at this point to apply.
Missed the boat.
You better know somebody, so send me an email, make a compelling case. So
yeah, or just come. I mean,
come.
it's an amazing event, and of course, I'm gonna put the shameless plug in for Law Tech Connect. You come to our thing, you get the free Expo Hall pass. We do a happy hour the night before. It's awesome stuff. So, 4th annual.
Fourth
in Houston.
annual.
Super excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Great.
thank you so much. We are gonna round out this show with none other than, drum roll please, Adrian Doko. So Adrian is here representing Lone Star AUVSI, but if you've been in this industry, you know this guy. You've seen his mug. He was one of the leaders, like when Facebook took off. You started your own clubhouse. I followed suit. Just doing amazing things, helping the industry. Adrian, so you're here. This is your hometown. This is your turf. What are you super excited about?
Well, just the multimodal collaboration that's happening in the industry. We've said it for the past 10 years. We really need to do a better job of collaborating with industry, and we finally see that here happening in North Texas, where you have FAA, NASA, industry finally
GUTMA standards, like
everyone is getting together to make it happen, and it's happening in my backyard, and I'm super excited.
Yeah. So, have any of your friends actually got drone delivery to their house?
Oh, I live in a city and actually testified in the city of Louisville on why it's such a great idea. And now we're noticing all of the surrounding cities are upset that they don't have drone deliveries. So it's just phenomenal to be a part of.
So people see, that's a great point. We always talk about public acceptance. People see these ops happening. What feedback are you getting?
We're getting some great feedback. Obviously, it's been a game changer on, really decongesting the roadways for these small packages, but just having the opportunity to get, your basic medications for our elderly folks, and just to, you're out on a barbecue and you need a bottle of ketchup for that hot dog, you can get it within 5 to 10 minutes. So it's
Or
just,
3. I think yesterday I kept hearing 3. So like that's pretty cool.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So Exponential's going to be in your backyard too, as is Energy Drone after that, right? But you have some big things planned. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so as the hosting chapter for AUVSI Lone Star, we will be hosting everyone at the Rustic May 19th from 7 to 10 p.m. We're going to have a live country band, some gourmet Tex-Mex, and a lot of other surprises. So we're looking forward to hosting everyone, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns.
Well, I love that. We'll get that word out, Adrian. We'll get our Law Tech Connect crowd there right after our event. We'll all kind of en masse head to your way. Super excited about that. And what else? What else is going on with Lone Star? And how can people find out more?
Yes, you can always follow us at the AUVSI Lone Star through all of our socials, but we're doing a great job collaborating with industry, not only with the FAA as the lead safety team representative, but also working with the North Central Texas Council of Governments and several other communities on engaging, advocating, and collaborating for these technologies.
How could I forget Ernest Huffman and the NCT COG, I think is the acronym, doing great. You guys have been doing great stuff since the beginning, honestly, of when at least I tapped into the commercial drone industry, and really a place to emulate and a group to emulate. As AUVSI's chapters go, I think Lone Star is one of the top, if not the top one. You guys can all food fight about that later, but that's just my personal opinion. So awesome. And did you say how they can find you?
Yes, you can find me at Adrian Doko through all the social media platforms, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, we're on there. But we're looking forward to seeing everyone May 19th through 22nd, Houston, Texas, Expo 25.
Woohoo! And with that, that is all she wrote. See, I'm doing the hand thing and my camera's going crazy again. All right, goodbye everybody. We are out here.